Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Patience Rose, and this is Red Worldwide's Co-working Live, and we're excited that you are here with us today. We have been having a wonderful time this past couple of months, and we're actually at episode 21, and so we are excited about that today, that we have crossed the threshold of 20 episodes, and our episodes are kind of approaching different types of topics, about business and being in business and how businesses can do business better in different kinds of environments. And we talk about the people who are running the business, the owners, the human capital, and what it is that we need to do to keep ourselves in a position to have really successful businesses. And so we spanned everything from health and wealth to legacy, to structure, and to education. This morning, we've been having such a wonderful chat with those who are in the studio, if I can call it that, in our Zoom room. And we've kind of talked about, ways that you can upgrade your skills. And so we're going to have a session about that in the coming week. But today, we're going to talk a little bit more about how we can do business in different environments. We have been a part of a global change for how business is being done. And it's very important that we are looking at things from the perspective of being inclusive for people who might be in different environments. And so what do we mean by that? Well, a lot of us, who've been around long enough to have an opportunity to have had physical locations, and some of us have had more than one location. It used to be a thing for you to be able to have your business in one part of the city and then to open up a second location in another part of the city. And especially if you were in certain service-based industries, it made a lot of sense for people to do that. When, I was in the mortgage industry, we had a mortgage location in one part of the city and another mortgage location in another part of the city. And that was a big deal because people needed to be able to get to us so they could physically fill out their 1003 and do all of the things necessary so that we could begin to process their documents. Well, interestingly enough, what happened is having the ability to understand that physical proximity was really important back then, changed a lot of how people did business because there were pop-ups everywhere for certain types of businesses. And restaurants do it all the time because in order for them to serve their customers, customers need to be able to be in proximity so they could either come in and sit down and have a meal or so that they could actually come in and pick up a meal to take out. Well, of course, as we have become more technologically inclined, now we take meals everywhere. There's Uber Eats, there's DoorDash, there's, Grubhub, all of these different services that helps a restaurant to get their meals to people a little bit further out from them. Or for that matter, if they do have a location in metropolitan cities, they could have the ability to serve people, throughout the city, because of these services like, DoorDash and Grubhub. Someone could actually take a meal to someone 40 minutes away. I was in traveling just recently and I wanted a particular type of thing to eat because my diet is very different than a lot of people. And so I really was trying to stay within the diet, stay within the Mediterranean foods that I eat, the seeds, grains, nuts, and all of those wonderful things. And I found a restaurant that provided more of a vegetarian style meal. And it was so interesting because they had it on there, it'll be 60 minutes from the time you order before your meal is going to get to your location, and I don't know if that meant that they were, about 45 minutes away and it took them 15 minutes to fix the meal or what. But the bottom line is that it gave me an idea about how far away, or how the proximity, of that particular place, was for me to be able to get the meal and get it to me in a timely fashion for me to be able to eat, before it was too late in the evening. And so, when we're thinking about things like this and about our businesses, we want to think about what it is that we can do to reach people that might be another part of our target market, but that may be in a different or remote place. And so with service-based businesses, sometimes you can at least establish contact with people who might be more remote. They may be in a little village somewhere, or they may be in a town where there's, not the service that you offer in that town. And that town may not be far outside of reach. In other words, it might not be out of your state, or it might not even be out of your region, so you might be able to serve them because your license or certification or whatever you have might allow you to serve them, but they just may be far away where they can't physically get to you. How do you connect with them in a meaningful way, so that they are able to dive into what you have and really understand it and get connected to it and want to purchase it. Okay. We've talked about productizing our services and making it so that we've turned our services into a product or a package, so that we can remove the element of having to have us so physically tied to it that people wouldn't buy, and this is really, really important because sometimes we expand and we have other people that are working with us, and we want to give the same experience to every person, no matter who is providing the service, and so we have that as a thing that we're working on, and we've been working through that process, weekly. We did a whole hour session on it, and we're going to come back and have a follow-up on that in a couple of weeks. But right now, we're looking at, okay, what can we really do, if we have something that we need to share with people, but we can't physically get ourselves there. How can we put ourselves in the room with them and have them feel like we're in the room with them and, really have that proximity working for us? Well, I have had the experience of doing this, through a couple of different mediums that are what we call cross-platform, meaning that it's an environment similar to Zoom, okay, but instead of us just being able to see each other with our physical video conference selves, we actually create, an avatar or some other type of, experience that allows us to be in proximity where we can literally almost touch each other, although we're not touching each other physically. And so the metaverse has provided that as a platform, and we also have the ability to have people where they're in Zoom, and some people are in the metaverse, and we can actually still engage with each other in that way. I have had an opportunity to we have an office that's in the metaverse, and I've had the opportunity to be in a situation where I'm right there next to one of our people that work with us, our Javon Freeman, who's going to be here in a few minutes. She's going to share a little bit about it. And we've had her on before. She is the principal of and founder of Divine Lux Properties, and also her newest business called Lux Vision Studios. And she and her partner have done some amazing work in the metaverse. And she just so happens to be my daughter. And so she was like, Mom, you need to get in the metaverse. You got to bring the business in the metaverse because there's lots of people there that need what you have, and I'm like, I don't know, how many people are really there. And so I'll let her tell that part, about how many people are really in the metaverse, because I had no idea that there were that many people that were in the metaverse doing business and the caliber of businesses. And so I might have mentioned this in one of our sessions before, but there is a metaverse platform called Engage, and there we have Stanford and Yale and Harvard. And so we're an educational support services company, and they're educational, institutions. And so it was just an amazing thing to be in the space with all of these very highly sought after educational institutions and to see what they offer there and how it functions. And, and we've done before we were actually really recording and putting our sessions on YouTube, we had a co-working session where we took everybody into the metaverse through the internet, through Engage, because there's a way that you can do that. And we walked everybody around and we showed them what it was like and, how all of the different schools that are doing it, have their own digital twin in the metaverse and how the schools look just like they look, in the real world, in the metaverse, and how they have classrooms and students can sit down and they have teachers and they have whiteboards and all of these wonderful things. And students are actually in their house, but they can't necessarily get to a class or they don't necessarily want to physically go to class. They prefer to be in an environment where they could control their environment a little bit better. Some of them because of the pandemic, others of them for other reasons. Maybe they have children and they can't get a babysitter or whatever. This puts them in a situation where they can still, do homeschool or take care of their small children and still be in class. And that is an amazing opportunity. And so I got to thinking about this, and it's like, what if nobody ever had to leave their home to get what we offer? And what would that look like? And so of course that's what kind of led us to, Javon building us out an entire office there and making it so that we have the ability to serve people. And if I need to have a meeting, I can go into Horizon workrooms and I have my entire desk set up in there, with 3 large screens, and I can communicate with people in other countries. And it's just a wonderful experience to have somebody in Chile or, to have somebody in a remote part of Africa, sitting right there at your conference room table inside of this, metaverse. So I'll stop talking now because I want Javon to kind of share the experience and what it's like. And then something that we have coming up really, really soon, so that everybody can have the opportunity, if you want to have that same experience. And we'll talk about how you can experience it, whether you have a headset or not. And so with that said, Javon, I'd like to bring you on. So let me just, pull you in here. Okay, let's do that. Okay. And, uh-oh, where'd she go? Okay.
It says she left.
Okay. All right. Something happened there with the internet. So she'll be back in just a minute. But while she's coming back, let me see if I can share a little bit of my screen so that you guys can see what this looks like. Because I think that it's really interesting to have it, presented to you in a way that where you can understand what that is. Some people, are there, and you've already been able to, um, have an experience or two because you've played a game and or maybe you've done some work where you've had an opportunity to um, put on the headset and be involved in some other type of experience. There's lots of experiences there for helping people to um, get, I don't know, they really get the calming effect of being around the water or going to other, countries. We had a session a while back, and it was about 4 of us where we were in headset and we were able to go to Japan and China and all of these different places. And it was amazing because we were all there and we just picked a place and said, okay, let's go here now. And the metaverse took us there, and we were able to walk through the streets of China. We went to my hometown back in Compton, California, and we walked down the streets of some of the very, familiar places there, and looked at some of the community centers and things that are still there. And, it's just a very interesting experience to be able to take yourself to a place. And so even with clients, I've had the opportunity to actually demonstrate how something worked, and to be in a place where I can show it to them is really very interesting. Okay, so this is the Engage platform, and the Engage platform allows you to not just have a situation where you're in um, the metaverse online, but you could actually be inside of the headset, but you could actually be in the metaverse with by being on the internet, so you can, as they say, engage with people in a fully immersive way. But also, if you don't have the headset, you could be at your desk in front of your computer outside of the headset, and they can be inside of the headset, and you can be working with them and sharing, a lot of what is available. Okay, so this just kind of gives you an idea. I'll play the little video so you can kind of see it, and see what that would be like.
Okay, I'm back. I'm so sorry. My phone disconnected.
No worries. I'm sharing with them just some things that are in the Engage platform right now. So this is an actual location, and people can actually do these activities, in headset, but they can also do it from their computer. And the interesting thing about it, this is Kia, the car manufacturer, that has created this particular location online. And it's so interesting that they have a place where people could, participate in this kind of activity. Now, some people are like, okay, I like gaming, this is kind of fun, but the thing that you have to realize, that at the beginning of this video, I don't know whether you paid attention, but Kia, even though they were talking about Eco Island, okay, that they created, all right, they were at beginning to explain to you about their electric car. Okay. And so a lot of this, they had a little commercial at the beginning of this where a lot of what you're seeing is them demonstrating, hey, you need to get involved in purchasing this vehicle. And they kind of talked about the vehicle. They showed how you would charge it. And they then went on into their whole concept of you getting into this location and experiencing this fun thing that you can do here, which is interesting. But there are so many different experiences that you can have inside of the metaverse. And here, this is a classroom, right? And so this is them explaining, how you can teleport inside of the metaverse, how you can utilize your controller to do so, and how you can get around inside of the classroom. And these classrooms really do exist. I've used them to teach from. I've, gone here and used the podium, and behind me there was a huge full, what we would call like a 90-inch screen, and I was able to teach a whole class there that people really got involved in. I mean, they were excited about it. So, I'm saying that there are lots and lots of opportunities there. I've done TED Talks in the metaverse before. Here's a person presenting and inside of the metaverse, and they were having a whole talk show, okay, in there. And these people that are sitting here are real people that are in headset, that have their avatars, sitting down and listening to this particular talk show, and so these things exist. And a lot of times we may not know about them because we're not necessarily experiencing them ourselves. And I know this guy, Maxwell here, he works for Engage. But yeah, it's just an amazing experience, to be in this place and you're in proximity and it feels like you're right next to the people. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to stop sharing and I'll let Javon take the wheel.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to come on to camera now.
Yeah, and I am going to make you co-host and give you the ability to be spotlighted. So here we
Okay.
go. There you
Well,
are.
good morning. My apologies. I got disconnected a moment ago, but I am so grateful for the opportunity to be able to go over with everyone a little bit of information regarding the metaverse. Now, I have been in the metaverse for now, it'll be 3 years in the month August. And I've touched about every platform and app you could think of, from Engage to Meta Horizon World. There's a few other ones. There's a metaverse called Remio. There's a lot of different metaverses that all serve different purposes. But to touch on what my mother was saying regarding the immersive aspect of it, there is a large demographic of people that that you can actually meet and extend business with in the metaverse. Just a
Joanne, let me
little.
ask you a quick question. Okay. And so having the ability to just, give out some numbers. I know you're constantly doing this research and these feasibility studies to see use cases for the metaverse because of the work that you do every day with other businesses.
Right.
Tell me how many people are really there, in the metaverse.
Well, for example, just in 2022, the metaverse saw um adoption by 4 billion people in 2022. So you can just imagine they're basically slating by the end of this year another 4.75 billion people to integrate to the metaverse.
Okay, and what does that mean when you say integrate?
Integrate basically means that, the businesses that are brick and mortar will bring their business into the metaverse and start to take advantage of the clientele that is there, basically.
And what kind of people, actually, I'm going to pull my headset up because I want people to see what this thing looks like. You know, who actually would do this? Put on this.
Well, I mean, like you stated, there are several multi-billion-dollar businesses that have already integrated. Like you stated, it was Kia, Pfizer, you have Morehouse College, you have a lot of different businesses that are looking to or have already integrated. They integrated back in 2021, 2022. So the goal is to um, convince or explain what the benefit of integrating is. And that's just getting to a demographic of people that you would not see outside, for example, because a lot of people during COVID, they went into the metaverse. A lot of people that I've had contact with or met while I've been there came in 2020, and they were able to they're working regular jobs. They were able to get opportunities to come off those jobs and work regular work from the metaverse at that point. So,
Okay,
I
so
mean,
here we have this little device that, we put
right,
on,
right.
and
I can go grab mine. Hold on.
and so we're sitting here with this thing on our head. And for me, at first, it was daunting because I'm sitting here going like, okay, this thing is heavy. I don't know
Right,
that I want to have it, on my head for, longer than an hour. But what I've come to
right.
understand is that the way that it can be weighted, depending on the way that you tighten the straps and all of that. And there's a piece that you can put back on it to make it easily weighted so that it's equally weighted, I should say.
Equally weighted,
Yeah,
correct.
so that it's
Okay.
not feeling very heavy on you. And I have easily been in the metaverse for 4 hours with this thing and did
Yep,
not
yep, yep.
realize
So this,
I was
yeah,
there that
yeah,
long.
yeah.
You know, working with a client or in a particular medium. I've watched educational videos there. I've done half of the day of my work in the metaverse because of the fact that I had the ability to have these three big screens that allowed me a larger a larger size canvas to work from, especially when doing digital work. You know, when I'm working on building out a course and I need to be able to see what I'm doing really well. You know, I'll go on headset to do it because it just makes
Right.
sense. But go ahead and show yours because yours is a little different.
Okay,
It's
so I
more
have
compact.
I started out with the Quest 2. This is my daily driver. If you can see it, I have a screen behind me, so my green screen is on. This is my daily driver. Since I do primarily do a lot of 3D modeling and things like that, need a lot of heavy lifting. So that and my gaming PC typically is what I use to do work in. So
So let me ask you one more question. How much do these things cost? I know what I paid for
I mean,
mine.
as far as like the headset,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
okay,
How
so
much does it
the
cost?
Quest right now, the Quest 2, which is a stand, there's not many. Just let's go a little step back here. So the Quest 2 is a standalone, meaning that there's no cables that have to be plugged in. All you need is access to internet to be able to use it. Same as the Quest Pro and also the Quest 3 as well. So there are other headsets out there. There are Pico, there is HTC
HTC, yeah,
Vive.
yeah.
It's a lot of different headsets that are available that do similar things. Um, but they are along the lines of more of the expensive side of things. I would say when it comes to reasonably priced, and it being a standalone, the Quest is one of your best options because of that. Because of course, if anyone is aware, Apple came out with their Vision Pro, and the Vision Pro is not completely wireless. You have to be connected to a wire, and it only lasts for 2 hours.
And it's
Um,
$3,500.
and it's $3,500
And
now.
these devices are more like 200 to
But
$300.
but honestly, I feel like they are definitely on two different scales as far as, like I said, daily driver. I mean, on the entertainment side, yes, there are some benefits, but I would say if you're not a part of the Apple ecosystem, don't complicate your life. Don't complicate your life because you're going to have to buy another Apple device just to be able to integrate to the Apple ecosystem. Don't stress yourself.
And do believe
um,
we are Apple. We are
no,
Apple.
we are pro Apple. Don't misunderstand me. But $3,500 for if you have an Android device, $3,500 is crazy versus you getting the Quest 2, which is now $250, or the Quest 3, which is around $500. Now, the Pro is a little more on the expensive side. You can get it now for about $900, but that is only if you are, using this as a daily driver, doing this every day. And when I say doing this every day, I mean working in the VR and AR field, or looking to go the meta business side of things and make this your virtual office.
Yeah. So now, and let me ask you another question or make a statement. We do
Mhm.
have an opportunity to, because, RED's acronym is research, educate, and develop. And so on the research side of things that we are
Yeah.
working on, we are a part of a partnership that will allow us to get access to these headsets, the Pro that Javon has for about $215. And
That hurts my heart, but I hear you. I hear you.
it is a tremendous opportunity if you're willing to participate in the research. And we're getting ready to participate in this research because there is a pervasive opportunity,
Mm.
for people to become more metaverse savvy, if I can say that, because there are people that you can reach there that, like I said, people that are homebound and they can't,
Right,
leave their home office for whatever reason. They're, raising children, or they might be
right,
ill, or
right,
for that
right.
matter, they may have other issues that precludes them from
A
being
lot
able
of people, a
to.
lot of people are looking to make that transition. I mean, honestly, it's probably the simplest. It's simpler than working on a computer. I mean, all it takes is it's easy because it's easy to get acclimated to, I would say, because you you go through, they have plenty of tutorials. They walk you through on how to use your controllers. You could type with your controllers. You can talk to your headset and tell your headset what to do. It
Yeah,
has,
talk
voice
typing was a is a is
and
a
talk
big
type
thing.
as well.
Mhm.
So they have pretty much simplified
These are the controllers.
everything related to work. My controllers are
That's
across,
okay. But I just wanted to show
but
them what they look like. So they in some of the metaverses, you use these controllers to move around, to walk, to move yourself back and forth. But in other metaverses, you use your fingers. You know,
right. So you also have the ability to use your hands. You don't necessarily have to use your controllers. And my mind is escaping me for the exact term that is called right now, but they really have simplified it, and they're constant. And when I say there, since primarily I use the MetaQuest, they are constantly, Meta is constantly making advancements in this area, as far as becoming a developer and using their experimental, options as well. They make it really seamless to do. So I mean, the option is there, and I would say I feel very strongly when it comes to VR and AR being the final frontier, because it literally can put you somewhere that you're not.
so while you
And
were gone, I told them about our experience in which we got together as a group and we traveled the world. And
right,
we were able to
right,
walk through the streets of China and go to Japan, and we went to Dubai, and then
right,
it was just a
right.
quite an interesting
It just
experience.
totally changes your view. Once you have used it, you see things from a whole new perspective and a whole new way. Because I know for me, when I first got into the headset and started creating, now how I used to see things versus how I see them now is totally different. I kind of can, it's like I see everything now in like pieces. It's like a big puzzle to me, basically, and it really, if you're creative, it definitely, is a benefit, because they have so many different outlets that you can create from.
Okay. So I want you to just kind of talk to the people that are online right now who are doing certain types of businesses. What would it look like, for a person who, maybe was a realtor and they needed to be able to share, ideas about how people could purchase properties, or somebody that
They
is.
there are several different types of apps on the MetaQuest that people like architecture. Like for me, I do digital architecture. I build homes, I build offices, and for me, I use apps like Gravity Sketch. And I've seen people use Gravity Sketch in so many different ways. I've seen people build cars, I've seen people build models of shoes that they wanted to, sell and things of that nature. And then you also have software like Archeo. Archeo allows you to really get in depth as far as the architecture goes. You can get down, into what you're doing and really see what your property is going to look like. So I think from a real estate aspect of things, I think that it is a benefit, because you don't have to bring them into a physical office. You can take them to the property virtually, and they are immersed in a fully furnished home, or a home that is completely empty. So it's like it really, cuts out the frustration of having to travel. And I know for me, I've only experienced for me, I'm in my 30s, so I've only experienced having to purchase a home once or try to purchase a home once. And for me, traveling from one home to the next home to the next home to the next home was a bother. And knowing that, I can go to the location, use the app and use the address, and it takes me exactly to where the house is, and I can see what it is. I may not be able to see in it in some cases, but I'll be able to see where I'm going. So it's a lot of benefits, I would say, to integrating and using the VR and AR aspect of things to, I would say, kind of simplify life as we know it. Normacy is no longer what we knew as normal is no longer normal, so now we have to find other ways around what normal was.
Okay. All right. So now, for somebody that has a service-based business, and there are all of you said 4 billion people, that
Mhm.
integrated into the metaverse, let's just say I, want to come into the metaverse and provide coaching services, or I want to be able to have a place where I can meet up with people to sell insurance, or, I have um, some service that I'm providing, and I want to be able to sit down and have a meeting with a client. How is that possible, and where could I make something like that happen?
When it comes down to service-based companies, I always refer to either Engage or spatial, any platform that is multi-platform, meaning that you have access to it through your computer, your phone, as well as your headset, because you can make your sales, you can take them to your website and walk them through on how to sign up in these apps, because they have a browser based, so they have it where you can share your screen and things of that nature. So I would just make sure that the capability is there to be able to sell your services or walk someone through on how to set your services up. So that would be Engage, that would be spatial, and I would say Remio is one that also has that capability. Um, so I would go about that. I would go about it with those apps. Some of them are not all of them unfortunately don't have that browser base, but the ones that I listed are the ones that I would start out on.
What about Horizon Workspace? Is that a good place to,
You
you
mean
know,
Workroom?
I'm sorry, not workspace, workroom. That's correct. You know,
Um, Workroom is a good option. I would say that's more along the lines of a meeting place. So if you are looking to like do a meet and greet or do a class, though, that's where they have, options to use the whiteboard and you can share your screen there. But as far as like making sales and things of that nature, I mean, if it's just a one-on-one thing, you possibly can go about it there. But if it's multiple people, I would say it's really not, the security isn't there.
okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. Okay, so now let's go back to first steps, okay? Because we're like right on the top of the hour. How would a person, get involved in the metaverse? What's the first step, and what's the first thing to do? Of course, I know we need to get them a headset, but once they get
Right.
a headset, what's their next step?
Well, I mean, honestly, they don't even need the headset to start. I would start with someone somewhere like Engage that has a browser base where you can, or spatial, that you can go and log into and walk around and see, you're able to engage with people and talk to them on your mic and things of that nature. So you can, start networking that way and then see how you feel. Then I would say next step, get the headset. Get in there and get comfortable, but build your base on your social media and make your connections and your networking, I would say, through your computer first, and then go into the headset and start to make those connections.
Okay. Well, I look forward to us having another session where we can actually take them in there and show them, all of the things that we're kind of talking about and what a networking situation could look like,
Right.
for people
Well,
to introduce themselves to people and let them
right.
know what they're doing.
Well, it definitely is possibilities there. It's a lot of social spaces and options for business. We actually have an event coming up soon, the Metaverse Marketplace Expo, that will allow businesses that are not integrated to also network with businesses that already have come in, and that will be in the platform Meta Horizon Worlds. And then we're also going to do another event of the same caliber in spatial as well.
Awesome. So that's coming next month?
We are shooting to have it done by the end of this month. But we are worst case scenario will be the beginning of April.
Okay, awesome. So real soon. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us this
No
particular
problem.
opportunity. We talk about things Tech Talk Thursdays, so where we talk about all things tech, and this is really an important thing to be able to talk about this. I'd love to see some other research. So any other research that you can put
Yeah.
together,
Well,
because we
it's a
want to
lot of stuff
know.
coming out. It's a lot of
You
stuff coming out. So I stay up on top of everything VR and AR. And also, and there's a lot of other resources that in the future we can go over for businesses as well.
Languages. How many different languages are people speaking in there? How many people are coming from other
Oh,
countries?
there is
And
people from France, there's people from the UK. I mean, the metaverse is pretty much everywhere. I remember when I came in, the United Kingdom wasn't there yet, but I was able to meet people from France and Greece and all these different places. Granted, I didn't understand what they were saying, but I was able to meet them. So there are a lot of there, like I said, the demographic is large. And if you implement using things like AI and things like that, you'll be able to communicate with them and they will
yeah.
be a part of your customer base as well.
Yeah, because I know that they have software that allows you, I'm speaking English, but what they hear is Spanish, or I'm speaking,
Yeah,
English and
yeah.
what they hear is Portuguese.
AI is next level. It's getting there where definitely making a crossover. I tell you what.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again. And we will
No problem.
be back here on Saturday morning with our Smarter Start Boot Camp. Yay. On Saturdays, we do the Smarter Start Boot Camp. And so we'll be here Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is our last week on Saturdays. So, those of you who have time,
No.
yeah, we won't be on Saturdays anymore, but we'll be Monday through Friday and we'll have different times during the day after the 20th, so the people who can make it only in the evenings can be there on a couple days a week on Tuesday, Thursdays, and on Monday, Wednesdays will be in the morning, and then on Fridays will be in the afternoons. So that gives people to who want to be live inside of the Zoom room the opportunity to be with us and as we're doing the videos and not necessarily having to participate with it after the fact. They might have questions or things that they want to ask, or when we have a participation day when everything is hands-on, they have the opportunity to participate at that moment. So it's important for us to make sure that people are aware that they have, we will have options, in the next week that will allow them more access. So that's really important. And we're always about, ameliorating our experience so that people can have access. Well, with that said, we'll see you next time here on Red Worldwide's, Co-working Life.
See you later.